Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. And Bernard Hopkins promises that Canelo Alvarez will look to fight Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade in 2020. And this is during a recent interview with Seconds Out and Radio Raheem. And I find that very interesting that that Bernard Hopkins would make this prediction, but we've seen in the past that Bernard Hopkins' predictions have become very credible and they seem to come to fruition. If we look that Bernard Hopkins did an interview in 2019, and he did an interview and he was with Jamal Charlo where he stated that, hey, the Canelo fight will happen. You will get your opportunity. Little did we know at that time that Canelo Alvarez, Oscar De La Hoya, and Golden Boy had already offered Jamal Charlo that fight. And Jamal Charlo simply turned it down. So if we're going to be honest about the situation, Bernard Hopkins telling him that was absolute fact. So the fact that he's saying that Demetrius Andrade and Billy Joe Saunders could happen in 2020, it has a very good probability. And you never know with Canelo Alvarez if he's going to fight anywhere from 2 to 3 times a year at this point. So this would be a very interesting situation. And you know what? If we break it down, you see that Canelo Alvarez was already in negotiations with Demetrius Andrade last year for a fight, when he was stripped of the IBF world title, with his opportunity to fight Sergey Deverenchenko, those negotiations failing, he immediately entered discussions with a title unification with, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. And the reason why he went to Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade is because, if he wasn't fighting his mandatory in Sergey Deverenchenko, there was no other big fights out there, no history-making fights, and he was not interested in a Triple G trilogy at that time. He was looking at Demetrius Andrade as the next sensible opponent, and that opponent almost came to fruition. The only reason that fight didn't happen is that Sergey Kovalev came back to the negotiation tables, and they were able to work out a deal for that November. So you see that Canelo Alvarez chose instead to make history with Sergey Kovalev by winning a 4th world title in a 4th division. And you know what? It made more sense to fight Kovalev at that point than a Demetrius Andrade who's literally fought nobody. But I think these both are great fights to make. Either way it goes, I see Canelo Alvarez stopping Demetrius Andrade and Billy Joe Saunders. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the IBFP.